2, 1. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with a discussion video because the TCG has basically been talking. And what do I mean by talking? Well, the casuals and the competitive players have been talking. And it's now gotten to the point where a lot of competitive players are now saying, I want to play with the casuals. I'm going to be a casual player because Konami TCG does not care about its player base. Konami overall does not care about its player base. Now, I don't know what I can speak on in Japan or the Oceanic in the OCG, but the TCG is fed up. So, what sparked all of this? Well, recently there was a video that was released by Jessica Robinson. If you guys don't know who Jessica Robinson is, Jessica Robinson is the 2023 European, the EU WCQ winner. She is also the top 8 finalist for the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championships of 2023. There was a lot of things Jessica talked about in her video. If you guys would like to know a lot more of what was going on, I will leave a link in the description box for you so you can take a look at Jessica's video. But Jessica's video basically hits some key points that I want to be discussing in mine, which are Konami's lack of accountability for product, prizes, and even control of the ridiculous formats that have gone. Then there is the lack of representation for their competitive scene. There's a lack of representation for the casual scene. There's a lot of things that have been going on with the community that, while I don't know much of it on the competitive side of the game, I do know what I know on my end from the casual side of it, because yes, I am a casual Yu-Gi-Oh player. And there are a lot of things that go on in Yu-Gi-Oh! That, even at a casual standpoint, it's just like, we're so exhausted too. And it was even to where everyone was exhausted with how things are going. So, the first thing that happened was that we see a lot of the changes that the TCG gets, and no one's liking it. We don't like the fact that we have to wait till the TCG feels like releasing a ban list, where the OCG gets theirs. They get a notification 2 weeks before their ban list is going to change. They get an automatic, hey, this is when we're releasing our list, and they go from there. Their list, from what we have seen, is always every 3 to 4 months. So it's like every season. And there are a lot of product that gets announced. There's a lot of things that, well, TCG doesn't do that. And we have no exact reason why, and it's unfair because, you create the format for your players to play in. You create the balances that we need. But you refuse to acknowledge us, you refuse to listen to us, and then we just have to do our own thing. This is part of the reason why a lot of people started playing the Time Wizard formats, or as we used to call it, the GOAT formats, the Edison formats and stuff like that. A lot of the OG formats are being played more now because the competitive players and even the casuals don't like how things are being portrayed by Konami themselves. It's very frustrating. People are very angry about how things are panning out. No one likes the fact that no matter how hard they work, the payout for the prizes are god-awful. And this is for someone who, I may not ever won a prize from Konami, but oh my god, when I found out what the prize pool was for it, oh, it is ridiculously horrible. They get like these cheap ass deck boxes, they get these horrible mats, some sleeves, and then a Switch. Now, I love my Nintendo. I do. I have 3 Switches. But you couldn't get them an Xbox? You couldn't get them a PlayStation 5? You couldn't get them a Steam Deck? I mean, they aren't that expensive either. Is it just because Nintendo is just cheap and you guys just want an easy tax write-off? I don't understand that. That is ridiculous. And then you look at how they, reflect on the players. Did you know that Konami does not really care too much about their competitive base? And even at a point in time, while they have all these Yu-Gi-Oh! Influencers, they didn't want them to be as impactful to the game as they are now. So now they have to use them because a lot of people listen to to us. Well, we used to be called YouTubers, and now I guess we call ourselves Yu-Gi-Oh influencers because we're the ones that go online and go on social media and we talk about these things that go on, whether they're the casual scene of Yu-Gi-Oh, the competitive scene, or to evade what new archetypes and product is coming out, or even like I'm doing now, the stasis of the game. So it is a lot that gets dragged in to what we see on our end from Konami, and it's like, wow, there's really literally nothing you guys put into effort, put the effort into. And I question a lot of this because when um, I questioned this a while back. This was years ago when I first found out that Konami had decided to take Yu-Gi-Oh influencers, as they're called now. These are YouTubers who were very vocal about things in Yu-Gi-Oh. Not saying that they don't love the game, because everybody who plays Yu-Gi-Oh definitely loves Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole. 25 years into it, and you know, a lot of it seems like they're pushing towards their influencers being their main focus, while they'll just release any product just so that the influencers can talk about the product. But you also know that at a certain point they have them on a leash. They can't say certain things. They can't do certain. Well, they can do what the fuck they want, because I've seen some of them do and say some of the ridiculous shit that they've said. But that's for another video. When I look at a lot of it, Konami puts more effort into those influencers than they do the people who are winning their events. Even to the point where even some of those people have even said vocally, I don't feel like I get enough recognition from Konami when I win an event, because I get a pat on the back and a thank you for giving us your time and effort and money, and then move on to the next thing. There's even been events where, even though the format is still the same, 3 to 5 decks at the top, why are they not getting recognition to the players who play in those events? Because we don't hear anything about the YCSs in a lot of areas. There's no coverage for them. You have all these influencers in these different regions. Why don't you use them? They can be the ones to help you out with it. I'm sure they probably cost some, because guess what? Technology costs too. But if you have if you have access to all these people, why don't you just use them? I just don't understand. I really, really don't. So it makes a lot of things harder for a lot of people on these brackets of casual and competitive play to say, do I really want to continue to play this game at this level if I don't get the recognition for it? This is something Jessica brought up in her video, because she was like, I spent all this money and here I am just looking at it like, what was it worth it? I can go buy a Switch. The amount of money I spent on this trip to go to this certain place, I could have went and bought me a Switch. I could have went and bought me a playmat and a deck box, which you can for a lot cheaper too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you can have a custom deck box. Like, I can name several people who make custom deck boxes and custom playmats, and even the new field cloth, because they're fucking adorable and awesome, and a lot of them are well made. You can easily get that, and that'd be a better reward prize than whatever the hell Konami wants to give you. Because if Konami, was like, we're gonna give you this, this, and this, okay, but is the quality gonna be worth what you're giving me for the amount of money that I'm spending into your card game? Because that's really where the basis of things is now with the competitive players, and a lot of the competitive, the top ranked players, is that without the recognition or the prize pool that they feel they deserve, they're switching to other card games now that have a better prize pool and recognize their players. They have Hall of Fame and Magic. Pokemon has their Elite. It's like, this is the recognition of those who have done extremely well in Pokemon events and Pokemon tournaments. You also have to remember, some of them are also getting their Pokemon re-released as gifts, and for mystery gifts to other players to recognize them as competitive, as the part of the competitive scene. This is a very nice thing to do. But Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't do that. There's no re-release of decks. There's no, acknowledgement of these players throughout the last 25 years. 25 years in the card game, and you still have not recognized the players who keep your card game afloat. like at all. You can print all the rarity collections you want to. You can print all the massive amount of reprints from older cards and still get that wrong too. Because when the 25th anniversary came out for Yu-Gi-Oh, they didn't include everything. I'm just gonna put that out there now because you only included 6 sets. And the sets that you included, there were sets in between Invasion of Chaos and Dark. Was it Invasion of Chaos and I think Pharaonic Feral Serpent that were still not released, that were released, that held cards in for GOAT format, and you have not released them. I don't care how many times they were reprinting. You went and just jumped up in the Invasion of Chaos. And I even said in that video, I was like, well, how do they jump from one section to another section and not include the section that has the cards that are needed to build the decks? How do you have Time Wizard format for GOAT format and we're still paying almost $25 to $30 for one card? Like, the math's not mathing. The math is never mathing at this point. So this is why a lot of competitive players say they don't want to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And rather play casual, because there is just these issues of the cards. Issues of the cards, whether it's the expenses of the cards, or it's the fact that there are cards in the game that promote toxic gameplay. And when I mean toxic gameplay, I mean people who sit there and they stop last returns, they sit there and want to wait out till the clock is ran out. There are some situations where, some people just give up because they're like, I can't continue to play in a format where there's nothing to check it and everything that's supposed to check something gets banned. Well, I guess a lot of people complain about the floodgates, and of course Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a ton of floodgates. I rarely hear these issues of floodgates from the OCG. I hear them mainly from TCG, while the TCG has a whole lineup of things that, are unbanned in the things that are banned in the unbanned in the OCG. How they just make things a lot easier in the OCG than it is in TCG, I mean, it could be an issue if, yes, the player base continues to whine and cry about things. But then at a point where you start to notice that when both sides, the casuals and the competitive players, are now complaining about both ends, it's like, damn, Konami, wake up and smell the water and touch the grass. I mean, wake up, smell the air, taste the water, and smell the grass. And go touch the grass. Because literally, there are issues in your game that need to be addressed, and you're not addressing them. And especially with the TCG, because the TCG is just tired. We're tired. We're drained. We're irritated. I'm at the point where I'm ready, where I'm hearing people just saying, I'd rather go play One Piece, I'd rather go play Pokemon, I'd rather go play Digimon, and they already have their own cesspool of problems, but they're like, look, if I can get recognition for playing those games faster than I can Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like I'd rather go in that direction. And as someone who is a casual player, and I played this game casually for 2 decades, a little less than 2 decades, I'm going to be very honest. Trying to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always been tough. There's always been issues of cards that I cannot get. There's always been issues of videos, of me making deck profiles that, because I don't have certain cards, I get thrashed on for it. But then when I want to say, this is a casual deck, this is what I'm playing for the casual audience, then it's just like, oh, you're not supporting the meta players, you're not supporting the competitive players. It's like, well, we'll pick a side, because I've already picked a side. That frustrates me too. It's like, I can easily do something for one group, and then the other group shits on me. And like I said, I say that for another video too. But it generates into this situation of why players don't want to play in certain aspects of a card game or a video game, because there is no checks and balances for them. And especially with Yu-Gi-Oh, because Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have a lot of checks and balances that it needs. I'm not saying reformat your game to fit like the others. I'm saying praise your players for for their hard work and their dedication, and then also praise the fact that a lot of us who play as casuals and as on the competitive scene want changes to where things are fair. That's all we ask for. I think that's all we ever asked for. But we feel like we don't get that recognition, and now we have to start making videos and chains of threads and stuff to talk about it, because now threads are popping up all over social media about how bad things are going. People are having group chats and group discussions about it because things are just gotten so bad. So my honest opinion on why I'm making the video is simply because I agree there needs to be changes, and there needs to be things addressed. I would like a new ban list as soon as possible, and I would also like a ban list that is cohesive with the OCG, because then that way the TCG and the OCG doesn't have to stress themselves out and everybody can work in peace. Now, if that can't be addressed, I think, like most other people, we might just start jumping ship and playing other games. You know, it's sad when the locals is giving more better prices than the regionals, the YCSs, and Nats and Worlds. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So with that said and done, you guys, I'm going to basically just leave the video here. And I'm going to let you guys talk about things in the comment section. I'm going to open this up to my social medias as well about how things are going with the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and the Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG. Well, just the card game in general and how players feel about how things are going. Whether you're a competitive player or a casual player, there's a lot of things being said, and there's a lot of things that are going to be said for years to come that are probably been said years before. So, with that in told, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to what I have to say. I'll leave a link to Jessica's video in my description box below. And shout outs to Jessica as well, because I know, Jessica, you took some time off to try to get yourself together, and a mental break is definitely needed for everyone. And I do wish you the best, as well as welcome to the casual family. It's crazy, but we love it. And with that said and told, thanks everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more content to my channel. And my social media links, they're in the description box below. You can check out the playlist for other discussion videos that I'll have posted up as well. And with that said and done, thanks everyone for watching. HPJ signing out. Take care.